Hey there, Doc J Zimmerman here. We're going to do our video health tip of the week. It's a new thing we're going to start, whereas I'm going to do some health tips for the office. So I know a lot of people aren't receiving emails, so we're going to do the video. This way you're stuck in my office watching me, and you know, you get me when I'm not in the room with you, and you get me while you're waiting for me, you know. I don't know if that's good or bad for you or not. But today we're going to talk about an interesting article that I read on the 7 dimensions of health. I found that interesting because I've always done a talk throughout my career on the 5 facets of health. It's been a popular lecture where I talk about 5 essentials in your life that you need to be healthy. So when I saw the 7 dimensions of wellness, and I saw what categories they had, it made me realize that we can add them together and come up with a nice list of things you need to do to be healthy. Now, as far as the 5 facets of health goes, proper exercise, proper nutrition, proper rest, proper mental attitude, proper nerve flow, that was what the basis of my lecture. So when I saw the 7 dimensions of wellness, they did a physical dimension, an emotional dimension, an intellectual dimension, a social dimension, an environmental dimension, spiritual dimension, and occupational dimension. So the obvious aspects of health, you know, as far as I'm concerned, and how they tie in with my 5 facets of health, were the physical. You got proper exercise, things like that. The other aspects of health are physical, emotional, mental well-being parts. So, you know, you got to get enough exercise, you got to eat right, you got to get enough rest, you got to have positive mental attitude. Those are my five facets. So the ones that I'm going to add in there and talk about today are the few that are in the 7 dimensions that I didn't talk about in my lecture. One is the intellectual health. Intellectual health is the expansion of knowledge and creativity. This is what you need to do on a daily basis to keep your mind moving, to keep your mind active. You want to read, okay? You want to spend time thinking in the arts, and thinking, and then maybe spending time creatively in the arts, whether it's, you know, painting, drawing, playing music, things like that. All of these activities stimulate the brain, which is what we need for intellectual health. The more things we do with our brain, especially as we get older, research is showing that it can, you know, fight off dementia, prevent, and dementia is basically a general term for aging-related brain illnesses like Alzheimer's disease, things like that. So the intellectual portion of health is very important. The next one that they talk about is social health. Social health is the ability to interact with others and then grow healthy relationships with the people around you. Now, to do that requires a lot of skill, trust me, because sometimes I've been accused of not having some of these skills by close members of my family. But you have to have communication skills. It's very important to know how to talk, but most importantly, it's important to know how to listen. Listening doesn't mean just waiting for your turn to talk and thinking about what you're going to say. Listening is actually paying attention and focusing and understanding the words that are coming from another person. That's listening. That's engaging. And then you can spontaneously talk about the words that you hear and have conversation and have debate, things like that. So a good way to develop your social health is not only just being involved with your family, but being involved with your community as well. Now, environmental health, this is interesting because I never really thought of there's such a thing as being environmental health. Environmental health is knowing and accepting the world around you is in a constant state of flux, and how the effect of your daily habits and living influences the physical environment. So making choices that are good for the environment is ultimately good for you. So environmental health is just understanding, what it is that you do and how it affects the environment, and then how in turn that affects others, and how it affects the ecosystems and everything else that's important to us. So that's a good one for me, because I never really considered that in my healthcare options, even though I do consider myself to be very environmentally friendly. One of my favorite ones is spiritual health, and spiritual health is having faith, belief, principles and values that give you meaning and direction in your life. Spirituality is really not just about going to church and religion. It's about being able to be present in the things that you do. It's about being curious and inquisitive, and also about being able to spend quiet time with yourself and reflection of your day. So spirituality, yes, it's having a relationship with the higher power, with God. It's also having a relationship with yourself, being able to think clearly and quietly. Meditation, right? I'm always a big proponent of meditation. So spiritual health, my perspective on that was widened a little bit, because I just tended to think of it as my religious choices, and not so much my mentality of time with myself and quiet time. So that's another good one, spirituality. And the last one not the last one that they gave me for 7 dimensions, was occupational health. Now, occupational health was a tricky one. This is another one that I just thought, well, what do you mean? You just find a job that you like, and that's occupational health. If you're happy in your career or your job, then you're going to be happier in life, and you're going to be healthier. Well, that's true. But it's also, according to this article that I read, it's about using your unique gifts and skills and talents in order to gain employment, happiness, and enrichment for your life and your family. So you're either born or you're developed with these gifts that you have as an individual, these skills and these talents, and you find a career that optimizes that, and it allows you to take care of your family and give you enrichment in your life, gives you happiness. Now, lastly, the one that I talk about all the time, and it's not included in the 7, but it's included in my 5, is neural impulse flow. You have to have nerve impulse health for your body to be healthy. The neural impulses control everything in your body. The brain sends messages down the spinal cord, out the spinal nerves. That's how your body works. So if there's any blockages or interruptions in the nerve flow, it's going to affect function. It's going to affect your health, and it could be minute little changes, and then over time, it can affect things that you're not even aware of. Maybe you're sleeping less. Maybe you're digesting your food not as well. Maybe you're getting a little more anxious and having a little more stress and anxiety. So what a chiropractor does is we just remove subtle nerve impulse blockages along the spine that influence function in the body. So the spinal adjustment improves neural impulse flow and helps your body to function better and to be healthy. So just to recap for this health tip of the week, we had basically 8 dimensions, 7. They had 7 dimensions of health. I had 5 facets. My 5 facets were proper exercise, proper nutrition, proper rest, proper mental attitude, and proper nerve flow, which I guess a lot of that can be included in their 1 dimension of health, which was physical, and then emotional, intellectual, social, environmental, spiritual, and occupational. So if one pays attention to all these different areas, you are definitely on the road to a healthier life. And if you're having a healthier life, you're having a happier life. Okay, well, that's it for today. I'm going to get up and shut the camera off. As I get up, please enjoy the view behind me of the Back Bay. It's a beautiful day today in Brigantine.